Our next speaker is a Michelin star chef, an internationally acclaimed Indian, an award-winning author, a poet, and a filmmaker. He is the recipient of the Access to Freedom Award, Eleanor Roosevelt's Shining Star Award, and GQ Man of the Year. Yeah, woo. You've seen him in many master chefs, India and otherwise. Twist of Taste, National Geographic's Mega Kitchens, Hell's Kitchen, Beat Bobby Flay, and many more successful shows. He is considered a top authority on Indian cuisine, hosting successful cooking shows, and has written more than 25 cookbooks. His books have won many prestigious awards like the Benjamin Franklin Award and the Gourmand World Cookbook Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the very good-looking chef extraordinaire, Mr. Vikas Khanna. This is quite the journey you have traversed.
I was the least ambitious person on the ground. I think sometimes people push you. You know, very funny, when I went to college to study, so I was from Amritsar, born and raised there, and when I got admission by luck in hotel management college, and they would teach us cooking. Mostly, you know, majority of the colleges teach you French and European cuisines. They don't teach you Indian food. And the names are very difficult. I didn't speak a single word of English. And the teacher I remember him saying one thing, oh, you know, you should do this, and this is for Michelin star chefs, they do it like this. And when we started doing it, he said, oh, it's not for you. Okay, this chocolate is delicious, but this is not for you. I'm like, why? Oh, you know, this is the award which is very reserved worldwide for white chefs. So then why are you telling me this? I'd rather be ignorant about it than don't give me something and don't show me this, you know. If I was doing something small, it's okay, but I think people pushed you. When you came to America, you came to hide. You didn't come to be visible at all. It's just that people kept pushing you. It's very strange when I say that. I'm not... my father used to own a small library where he used to rent video cassettes. So, in Amritsar. So, for me, I think that was great. I was happy with that also. But here, when you have people pushing you, it's like, when I say this, it's not enough, but sometimes I can't explain that. Sometimes it's not about you. It becomes the issue of your skin. It becomes the issue of your parents. It becomes the issue, and then something in you makes you stand up. And you don't stand up for yourself. You stand up for so many different things, and you can't afford to fail because you're standing up for someone else. There's a lot of English in one sentence.
But we still want to know how you got from Amritsar to here. And when you lived here initially, you lived also in a very humble space.
Don't have to. We are in America. We don't mince words.
We don't sugarcoat things. So you were living in homeless shelters.
Yes, I've lived everywhere. So you know, that was a part of the journey. You didn't understand America in so many ways. But
what brought you here?
There's a book called Jonathan Livingston Seagull.
An inspiration for so many people.
You know, we used to have a small banquet in Amritsar, like I don't know if anybody from Punjab, only they can relate to this. It's a kitty party story. So I was just doing kitty parties for women, and you know, we used to have this shed, which was illegally made, which is like in India, it's normal, you know. So every time somebody comes for inspection, you give them a bottle of whiskey. Like, this is how we ran the business, you know. We didn't know there was the other way around. And one day we got not a good, honest government official who broke the ceiling. And he broke my banquets, and he broke my heart. And I went to That was a tough day for me because when you have a ceiling, that was the only place you knew. And a lot of people who are born here, a lot of kids who are born here, will never, ever understand what it is to leave everything which is familiar to you, everything which is yours, everything where you grew up, you walked, every place, every tree, every side of a street which was broken, every gutter which was familiar to you, leaving that and coming to a foreign country. Either we are driven by great ambition or you're useless like me.
How can you say that?
Not really ambitious. A lot of people talk about great ambition. I'm not. So when I came to America, I didn't speak a single word of English. I was working at Delhi in Tribeca. And when Indians say third, it's like turd. So there are 3 people standing in the line, and I am telling that guy, "You're turd!" And he started fighting me. My owner came and he said, "You can't come to work tomorrow." I said, "But I didn't say anything." I said, "You are third. And I'm like, "Third?" So I was trying to tell him that you're third in the line. And I'm like, "Oh God, this is terrible." And then you're working in restaurants. And a lot of Indians will relate to it. You said, "Ek tandoori chicken." So you said, "Ek tandoori chicken." The guy heard 8 tandoori chicken. So he puts 8 tandoori chicken in the sizzler plates and he says, "Pick it up." So I said, "8 tandoori chicken." And I'm like, "1." He said, "1, you're in America." So I said, "You pay for the 7. I left the job there also because I said, so, it was really not somebody who was ambitious at all. And I've just lived, I fell in love with New York. I think I felt that something about me was born again here. It was like from darkness I came through the tube into light. Something on 34th Street and 8th Avenue, something happened to me. I felt this is the home. Even if I need to disappear, die, be a beggar here, I will do that. But that is, we did all the odd jobs, and Americans have very different problems than Indians. I was working for this woman and the problem was the cat was too fat. I said, "What do you want me to do?" She's saying, "She's fat." I said, "Can I take her for a walk?" I said, "No." I said, "Stop." She's saying, "Stop calling her fat. She'll feel bad." Because she can understand English like... I think, wow, this country has amazing... When you're so evolved, you have different problems, right? And you have everything on your doorstep. And I said, "But what do you want me to do?" He's saying, "Talk to her." I said, "Cat." And I used to work in a restaurant on Upper West Side on Columbus Circle. I was a delivery boy, and she saw me giving flyers on Central Park. I never used to give flyers. I used to put them in the dustbin. Like everybody else. Everybody's done this. I can't stand here for 2 hours in freezing cold. Just put them in the dustbin, go back to the restaurant. And she saw me and she started talking to me, and she's saying, "Come to my house and you can talk to my cat for 1 hour." So I called my mom. I said, she's saying, "What are you doing nowadays?" I said, "I speak to cats." I said, "She's very depressed." Americans have totally different priorities. It's so amazing that through this, that you figured out how you worked with chefs, American chefs and Indian chefs and European chefs, who were upset with you because you didn't take things so seriously. You were working seriously, but you didn't take life so seriously. You were living on the street in homeless shelters, everything. You said, but the beauty was Manhattan. The beauty was that city where you could feel that people who had walked to invented electricities to internet to make the greatest arts and movies and everything, they walked on the same street. We shared the same sidewalks. They got yelled when they didn't move with the green light. Me too.
So from the odd jobs, from distributing flyers, from talking to cats, how do you actually start, how to become the Michelin star chef? How did that work out? You say you're not ambitious, but look, here we are. We're getting a motivational talk from you. We're loving it.
There was a chef who I worked with, and he was very upset because it was breakfast place. So you go out, you make the eggs and all those minimum job. I came before 9/11, so it was very easy to be illegal and get a job in America. And we never cared. We didn't even know what green card was, I'm honestly telling you. Till this whole lightning struck you. And I'm doing this, and this chef used to get upset with me somehow because I used to be talking to people and say, oh, you go back to your country, go and clean your country. And I'm like, okay, right now I'm cleaning here, right now, let me finish this. And one day he got mad at me because there were a lot of people who came back and they wanted to see and talk to me. And I'm like, there's nothing to talk to me about. And they said, no, we love that. There's some energy which just healed me. We got our parents, and my mother was American. She didn't understand a word what she was saying. I said, me too. I don't understand any word I say. But she said, and the chef got upset and he got mad and he wanted to cut off my fingers with a Chinese cleaver, and he hits me hard and says, you can't even go and report about me because you're illegal. And somehow I told the dishwasher, when I was showing off, oh, I'm going to get a Michelin star one day. And he said, the dishwasher must have told him, and he said, it's not for people like you and your families. This is for us. That woke me up. And I said,
that fired some ambition in you.
That told me that, for me it's okay. You tell me anything, I really don't mind. I'm extremely thick skinned, maybe I just don't care, but that was a tough thing for me to hear, that not for you. You are exempt from the liberties. You're exempt from this American dream because you don't speak. I took a lot of English classes, doesn't look like, but my sister is sitting here, she's laughing. Yesterday sent her a message, that is the best judge. She's saying, one of the best judges, she's saying it's judges. So I was fighting, it's one judge you're talking about. How can it be judges? But yes, I've written not 25, I've written 34 published books, I've written 7 more books, I've written total 41 books till now. But when somebody tells you this, then otherwise I'm very busy, just being lazy. Me and my sister just meme traders. We just keep exchanging memes, and we are happy with that day also. But I hold the world record of the world's most expensive cookbook. So it's $50,000 per copy. So
you can't buy it.
You can't buy it. Only I gift to somebody. Only I gift it. So we only have 13 copies till now. So we have Queen of England. She also speaks English. Apparently, she invited me for the book, and we have President Barack Obama, we have Dalai Lama, His Holiness Pope, and we have some amazing people who have those copies of those books.
And it's just incredible.
Yeah, it's every festival of India because I wanted to touch. A lot of people who go to India, they just see India on a very single surface. It's such an ancient country, it lives layers under layers under layers. And somehow, I'm not going to say it for everyone, when you're poor in India, you're happy. It's something about the energy there that, I remember just traveling in India. I might be the most well-traveled person, no humility here, most well-traveled person Indian you will meet, who's been to valleys and villages, and I can show you things of who eats what and everything, all because of that one book. Because somebody told me that whatever you do, you'll be less than me. That was tough for me. I said, I'm going to write the most expensive book. So I'm like Indian independence started from my city. And I'm very proud of it, from Amritsar. Yeah. India was still asleep when the Jallianwala Bagh incident happened and they woke up and said, rebel. But they didn't think rebel for what. They were just like me. Let's do this. But for what? I don't know. But let's do it. Let's write the world's most expensive book. But who told you that? I don't know. This guy told me that I
can't do it.
I can't do it. Let's do it now. It's like something is mad about you. And I'm like, that is what makes New York City such a gravity to people like us.
Whatever it is that drove you, it's got you here. We're so honored to hear your story. Big round of applause. We're not letting you go yet. So inspiring to hear where you come from, where you are today. Truly, truly inspiring. Couple more questions. How do you look like this in spite of being surrounded by food? Really?
Yes.
I mean,
I think my father was the most good-looking man in the world. I'm a very bad version of him, but I think think genes, but I also figured out one thing after being through a big grind of life. We figured out that nothing was worth health. Nothing. Nothing. No depressions, no Prozacs, no prednisones, nothing was worth just trying to be happy. And actually that is the best dose of medication. I know I'm not speaking against science, but it truly helps you. There's a beautiful research in Harvard about Howard, not the one near Boston, not the one in Washington DC. Howard, that it's an issue with V's and W's. I know my problem.
Harvard.
Melanie is going to quit her job because she says for the last so much she cannot deal with it. She's like, I don't know. So
Melanie being your English teacher.
My English teacher.
He's got an English teacher.
So they have this thing with the rats. The moment you feed a rat beautifully, you put little music, you tell something to them about how beautiful they are, and they're going to be okay. They can digest the food, their metabolism works faster. As compared to the rats, whom you curse, you shout, you yell, you make noises, make them feel they're small, useless. They can't digest the food. And what happened when the research was going on, they realized that those rats actually die early with maybe undiagnosed diseases. But those who were made to feel so unhappy and they started believing of being little and small. It's a true story. It's a true research.
How do you keep coming up with all that you do? How do you keep yourself so creative in spite of traveling so much, in spite of being so busy, in spite of living in many different time zones? How do you keep the creativity going, and how do you think I am going to write the most expensive book in the world?
But most meaningful also, meaningful. When I was writing the book, I was going to festivals in Northeast and in Parsi families and different traditions and rituals and celebrations and small ceremonies. Once our grandparents' generations have passed by, we do not know about those festivals anymore. We don't know what they used to cook. There was a method around it. There was a science behind it. There was a continuity, which is the beauty of the culture. It's like seeing your daughter wearing a sari for the first time and she wears American dresses. That moment just gets you on your knees. Nothing is worth it. And I saw my niece wearing a sari for the first time. It's continuity. So that is so inspiring, that one moment of seeing your niece wearing a sari. She couldn't carry it. She said, I want jeans. I'm like, just for 1 minute. You don't know what this means to us. We saw grandmothers in this. So continuity is amazing, even if you're writing books. You find something which is a continuous thread, and then you follow on it. And I promised my dad I'll write 50 books because, just to let you know, me and my sister she's 2 years younger than me, but we were in the same class because my IQ level was so, I had 1 or 2 brain cells, my teachers used to say. So it was also fantastic because you fought that. You said, okay, I don't care about method of education, I care about creative education.
And speaking of creativity, you have very recently reinvented yourself with a new venture.
Yeah.
And everybody in this room is going to get a chance to maybe get a glimpse of what that is.
Glimpse mantra they can also see online, but I'll tell you, I was shooting for a big book on festival, so I was in Banke Bihari temple in Vrindavan. It's a place where Krishna is associated, and they play the most beautiful Holi. So, in India, I generally travel with some little bit of security. It becomes difficult sometimes. So we had all the guards, we were walking out of this temple, and we all played Holi. And we had lines of women standing in corridors and balconies, wearing just white clothes. I'm talking about 2011, they were widows. Shunned by the society, they were thrown out of the houses, most of them, and they come to these ashrams, just wait for the day to die. It was one of the heart-wrenching moments for me. And I said, this deserves, and it came back, I wrote a story for New Yorker magazine, nobody gave a shit, fantastic. So I'm like, I'm not giving up. But what happened in 2012, Supreme Court of India passed court orders for rehabilitation and non-discrimination against these widows. This is the first time that they played Holi in 2013. The Holi is a festival of spring and color. And I talk about the rebirth in the movies, that color, being a chef of food, life was all about color. And remember, how do you tell somebody that you are less than them? You remove color from their life. And then I started going back to those ashrams and I started taking stories from those women about their life and everything. So we have a story, but it is told from the point of view of a rope walker, a tight rope walker in Varanasi, my favorite city on the planet, before New York. And she's walking on the rope and she falls in love with this elderly woman who has never touched color in her life. So it is that fiction what I've created, but also symbolism in which I talk about caste system and suppression and oppression, and I said this all has to go away. Rivers are the greatest symbol of how we actually, we constantly flow. So it's not stagnant. So we shot on the banks of Ganges. It was an underground project for 8 years. And next year, 2019, and just a few hours ago, I submitted in Sundance Festival. But if I get anything out of the movie, it will be the first Michelin star chef who's actually made a movie. So it's a...
Yeah, bigger round of applause. That was beautiful. That was soul-stirring. Can we have you back for a minute? With the mic?
We only have one actress. Everybody was picked up from the streets. Yeah, true. Nobody's a trained actor.
So just Neena Gupta was cast and the rest were found.
Yeah, we picked up kids and we trained them for 4 months for non-stop classes. And we picked up the lady who was coming for the house. She used to cook in this guy's house across, but I said, come, can you act as this? She's saying, okay. So we were literally picked up people like this, and this was actually done with just a sense of just telling that story, which is so majestic about human spirit, that these women stood up and they fought for color. And that's really a victory.
Truly commendable to a subject like this as well. For your debut film. Truly commendable that a chef is making a movie. Very, very well done. Just finally, one last question before we let you go. You have sort of experienced diabetes up close and personal. Would you share with everybody sitting here in the audience a little bit about your experience?
Just a few weeks ago, I lost my favorite aunt. She was not diagnosed in such a later stage. It's heart bleeding is the word, to see someone leave like this. It runs in my family. My grandfather passed away with this. And you know, one thing which a lot of people sitting in this room can actually relate to, when we leave everything, we come to this country, we are focused on just one thing: the illusion of the American dream. One thing which we risk the most is health. I'm not talking about just our health of the people we leave behind, because they were totally dependent on us. today with this kind of galas being organized and so much of focus being given to diabetes, so much of attention, we know that if you control it, it works. You can still continue to live healthy and normal. But we don't have anyone to guide. There is a dearth of a huge level of percentage of people which should not be even knowing about this. And I think if I had paid little attention, not just to me talking to cats and doing this thing, I paid a little bit more attention to my dad's life, he would have been here amongst us today. And this is not a big, this is where you lose. This is where you lose. And some days you say, oh, we got this endorsement and you're going to be endorsing Mercedes car. And you think about it, I don't know how much, when you negotiate the contracts, even the sense of money loses its value because you feel that I wish I can bring him back for one day, for one single day. I wish somebody had told me about this. I wish our family was aware. And I think this is not just me. We're speaking about millions upon millions of people. That how late it gets, we don't understand that. And when I saw this happening here in the beginning of, when we started the planning, I said, this is an amazing initiative. It touches right back home of how we ignore our health. And we know it, that we are, as this DNA, we are more exposed to this disease. And Dr. Malhotra's family is, I'm sitting with his lovely mother, and that's a blessing by itself. But I just feel that it's time we stand up and crush this. We can't lose from something which is actually just awareness-based.
Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing your inmost thoughts with us. Now, it's been a while since we fed our audience any food. I'm sure everybody's very hungry here. So we are going to lay out dinner, but we'd like to know your thoughts on the menu for tonight that has been put together by, Kamal Arora. Yes, he is. Arora Hospitality has put together a fabulous dinner, fabulous menu, and
Everyone knows it.
everyone knows him, everyone loves him.
Really?
A word on today's menu.
So I haven't done it. We just went through the menu together, but Kamal and his team and his chefs have created it, and I do not want to take that limelight of people who actually worked. It's so amazing when you take somebody's credit. Somehow you feel very good, but for that moment, but later you feel so terrible because you know when people used to take your credit away totally. So this is to you, Kamal.
Thank you very much. Big round of applause for Vikas. Big round of applause. Thank you so much. He speaks straight from the heart. So what we're going to do now, ladies and gentlemen, is take a small pause from the proceedings on stage and let you enjoy the fabulous feast that Aurora Hospitality has put together for you. We're going to let you enjoy dinner, and we will be back on stage with a few more things in just a little bit. So stay tuned.
We all have you here to support further what we call as our satsang. Right people with right heart, right intentions, and right actions. We cannot ask for more. I thank you all for being here, being with us every day, to support in every move we do. I especially want to thank Dr. Malhotra and the SKN family for their hard and tedious work to get to this stage. And my special thanks to Mr. Hirsch, our beloved president for St. Peter's, and our senior leadership. The commitment of St. Peter's is seen with the tables filled with our senior leadership. Here They are available to us for constant advice, constant support, and constant support of our community. Most of all, I wanted to thank my mentor of 38 years, Dr. Nail Kathari. In the community, you will know we are working with you every second to beat diabetes. So you will be seeing him very often in your neighborhoods. Now, I would like you all to join us in this journey. No one person, no one family
always does, and saw my blood sugar monitor said it was 50 at 3 a.m. We never knew what my actual blood sugar was. The next day, my mom called the company to see why the alarms on my pump weren't working. Please wait while the next available representative will assist you, said the operator. La, 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 la. Hello, said the voice on the other end. Hello, my mom said. Hi, I'm Mike. Hi, I'm Sapna, Serena's mom. So, what seems to be the trouble? Well, my daughter's insulin pump stopped alarming. Well, they talked for a while, then I started to hear my mother's panic voice when Mike said, "You need to stop using the pump immediately. We'll have to replace your daughter's pump. The software failed." What? Her blood sugar has been fine. It's 103 right now. I'm sorry, ma'am. My mom was in a panic because she knew we would have to use the backup plan, which meant I would need insulin shots until the new pump arrived. The insulin pump company sent us a brand new pump the next morning. My mom went to work and my dad stayed home with me so we could set up the new pump. Then everything was back to normal. What's great about using this insulin pump is that you have much more freedom and less shots. What's not the best is the malfunctions that can happen with pumps. I still love being on an insulin pump